Hello, I am Nicholas Coach, Training Consultancy Group, and today I want us to have a discussion on the 4 ways to awaken the sleeping giant in you. 4 ways to awaken the sleeping giant in you. Number one is what we call to raise your standard. Raise your standard. I'll begin by saying what Napoleon Hill said in his book Think and Grow Rich, that if you don't invite yourself in the banquet of good things, then no one will invite you. I will say it again. If you don't invite yourself in the banquet of good things, then no one will invite you. Again, the Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 29, that is in the King James Version, that see a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men. Queens and kings are men and women full of pride. They don't just invite anybody to their palace. They don't just interact with anyone that they meet on the road. They interact with the people of high caliber. They interact with people who have mastered their skill. They interact with people of high professionalism. That is where that diligence talks about mastery. That diligence talks about professionalism. That diligence talks about a skill. Those are the people that kings and queens interact and invite in the palace. So if you want to serve, if you want to be invited in the palace one of these fine days, then you need to raise your standards. Because if you don't raise your standards, then no one will raise your standards on your behalf. And that is why you realize people normally say that so and so nowadays is full of arrogance and he's full of pride. I tend to disagree. There's nothing like that. They are not full of pride and neither are they full of arrogance. The only thing happening is that there's a misfit between your standards and their standards. There's a misfit between your standards and their standards. So it is up to you to make sure that you raise your standards so that you can up your game. And once you up your game, people will be more than willing to interact with you. People will be more than willing to do business with you. People will be more than willing to consult you. They are not willing to consult you simply because there is a misfit. There is a total misfit in terms of standards. Their standards and your standards are totally contradicting. So it is up to you to make sure, as you are awakening the sleeping giant in you, it is your initiative to make sure that you raise your standards to a certain level. Now, in today's world, that we have got plenty examples of people who raise their standards. We have got the likes of Mahatma Gandhi. We have got the likes of Abraham Lincoln. We have got the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., who they decided that they are going to raise their standards and they are not going to settle for less when there is room of mastery and there is room of excellence. Number two, we have said number one, raise standards. Number two, it is change your limiting beliefs. Change your limiting beliefs. Now, if you raise your standards, but you don't believe that you can actualize the standards that you have raised, then you'll be sabotaging yourself already. So it is one thing to raise the standards, and it is another thing also to change your limiting beliefs. Because what has been making you to settle for less, what has been making you to settle for average life, it is your limiting beliefs. All of us, we have got the potential in us to live an excellent life. All of us, we have got a potential in us to gain mastery in whatever area we are. But what has been limiting us, what has been oppressing and sabotaging us is our own limiting beliefs. So if you really want to awaken the sleeping giant in you, if you really want to awaken the sleeping greatness in you, then you have to change the limiting beliefs in you and begin to believe that truly indeed that you can go for excellence in your area of operation. You have said number one, it is to raise your standards. Number two, it is to change your limiting beliefs. Number three, it is commit to lifelong learning. Commit to lifelong learning. There is no transformation in life without information. Anybody who does not acquire information will expire. If there is no inspiration, just await expiry in the few days to come. If you don't have information, then very soon you will be deformed. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your information. I will say it again. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your information. So if you want to have a quality life, then acquire quality information. And once you acquire that quality information, then it will reflect in your own personal life. And once it reflects, kings will invite you, queens will invite you. They will say that we need such information, we need such wisdom, we need such knowledge. The reason why they're not interacting with you, the reason why they don't want to do any business with you, it is because your information is wanting. Number 4, I call it changing the strategy. You know, you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking you acquired it. I'll say it again. You cannot solve a problem with the same thinking you acquired it. So for you to, make sure that you are raising your standards, you are changing your limiting beliefs, and you are acquiring information, then you need a strategy that will not fail you to actualize the kind of life that you want. And one of the simplest way to have a sure bet strategies that have been tried and tested, is just to look for role models. These are people who are doing what you are doing. They have the information that you are looking for, and they will save you simply because they are already doing what you are doing, and the information and the knowledge that you are looking for, they already have it. So you don't need to reinvent your own wheel. Just look for role models, check how they are doing it, acquire the information, know their ways of thinking, and implement in your own personal life. And once you implement, then they will save you a lot of time and a lot of resources. Maybe the only thing that you can do, maybe you refine, reshape, or even you make it better. That's how it is. So we have said now the 4 ways to awaken the sleeping giant in you. It is to raise your standard, 2, change your limiting beliefs, 3, commit to lifelong learning, and number 4, change the strategy. One of the key things that differentiate the average people from the great people, it is action. For more informative and transformative coaching, kindly subscribe, like, share, and comment. It's been your friend and coach, Nicholas Koech. See you at the top.